I had a little bit of an epiphany this morning
Uh-oh.
because I woke up at 4:00 and I was thinking, and that's dangerous.
That could be dangerous.
And I've got a new bad habit. I turn on the TV and I watch an episode of one show I'm watching, and I fell back to sleep. But anyway, my epiphany was Century 21. You know, the whole world is thinking about, I'm going to mirror match you.
Yeah. You got to put your glasses on though to do that. We got to do it 100%. 100%. I'm just kidding.
It appears the whole world is thinking about real estate right now, and it is, because it's on everybody's mind. I mean, everybody. I'm getting tons. I don't even sell real estate, and people are calling me to sell real estate, right? And all these people are coming into the business with licenses that have nothing. And their basic training is to say, how much commission do I get? Which is absolutely the wrong way to go about it. Here I am, 30 years in the business now. 30 freaking years, Jimmy. I'm only 27, but I don't know how 30 years in the
I
business.
don't know how that works.
And I've never thought about it. But let's talk about it. I'm going to call the elephant in the room out right now. If you're $100,000 a year producer, you are paying $6,000 to Century 21. We collectively, because I'm your broker, we are paying $6,000 to Century 21 because they get 6%. And then another 2% goes to the brand marketing fund. That's 8%. So if you're 100,000, which most agents don't do $100,000 a year, but if you're doing $100,000 a year, that's $8,000. So call it out. $8,000 divided by 12 months is $666 a year. That's just my 1980s calculator, which none of you can use because you don't even know what it is.
What is that thing?
It's an HP12C. It's a really cool calculator, but it's backwards. $666 a month. Now, this is a rant to get your portion going. If you are doing $100,000 a year, which I think is a good, stable place to be, it means you're making about $70,000 a year, which is respectable in real estate. Not great, but respectable. You better get some value out of the $666 a month you're spending.
Right.
So what value does Century 21 bring? Well, let's look at this. We did $25 million. Say my calculator actually goes to 25 million times 6%. We paid $1.5 million to Century 21. Why would I, as the broker, pay Century 21 $1.5 million in 12 months? 12 divide. $125,000 a month the company spends to Century 21 to use their name. Now, if I was a bad business person, why would I spend $125,000 a month to use their name? I'm not a bad business person, by the way. I'm actually fairly accomplished. And I've made the decision to sign up for another 10 years of this duty. We could be Century 20, we could be Beggins Realty, right? I suspect we would not make $25 million a year if we were Beggins Realty.
Right.
Okay. I'm sorry. This is my rant for now. So what happens from Century 21 for us to spend $125,000 a month is what we pay them collectively, you and I, because you your share, my share, it all goes in.
Yep.
What benefits do we get?
Well, I mean, one of the first things that comes to my mind when you ask that question is I just think of branding in general across the board, big companies like Apple, I'll use Best Buy, Microsoft, things like that. When you have a big name backing you, first of all, Your brand just got 1,000 times stronger when you started out in real estate instead of, again, Beggins Realty. Now you've been in business for what, we're going on, what, 40 years, 30 years, 40
30
years
years.
now. Yeah.
30 years.
So this month, in June. So yeah, I mean, that's a nice brand, but when you have a worldwide backing brand, you already have a step up in the game, across, up to me, above anybody else. But then when you think of everything else that we're paying for, the plethora, wow, that's going to be the word of the day, plethora of tools, resources, value that Century 21 brings, is insane. And I don't think any other broker gives that much, that you can, that's at your fingertips. It's all there. It's all there, but you do have to use it. I mean, don't get me wrong. If you're not using any of the tool systems, things like that, then, yeah, then you start asking your question, why am I paying $666? Or, well, was it 666?
If you're
That's
doing
not-
100,000 bucks a year,
Okay.
if you're doing 20,000
paying-
bucks a year.
Yeah. So let's say, well, we'll say 667 because I don't like 666. So you're paying 667 at 100 grand, and you're not using any of the systems or tools or anything that, they have given. And then on top of that, we've gone above and beyond on what we offer too, obviously. But if you're not using it, then I can see why people are like, why am I paying that? I'm not even
Right.
I'm not using any of the tools. I get it.
Well, I'm going to call it out again. So everybody else is saying, come work for us. We'll pay you 100% commission. There's no such thing as 100% commission, period. Right? Because if you're giving you 100%, just be smart for a minute. They're not giving you anything. You've got to provide everything for yourself. So let's look at what we give. Let's look at, just saying on the Century 21 angle for now, what are they giving us? And should we be using those tools if we're paying for them? Right?
Yes.
So our conversation today is going to be centered around MoxieWorks, but I'm going to deviate from that a minute before we get onto it, because, and this is just a warning, and I've been doing this for a long time. You have new competitors amongst you. And I'm not talking about OfferPad and Open Door, because we've turned those competitors into allies. You guys are using them very well. Your new competitors is your neighbor who got a friggin' real estate license and has no friggin' idea what to do, but they're talking to their friends more than you are, right? And they're winning their transactions based on personality. Okay? And that's what most real estate agents use, is personality to get their business. So what I want you to do, and I know it's more work, and I'm sorry, I want you to couple your personality with our tools and use them together to outshine and outperform the newbie next door who just got a friggin' license, who knows the same neighbor you do. Does that make sense? I don't want to sound threatening when I say that. I really don't. But we got to step up our game. When you add, what are we at, 1.5 million realtors right now? And more coming? There's not that many houses for sale.
Right.
So there's going to be a shortage. It's a supply chain shortage, just like fucking, sorry, chicken in Publix. Beep, Jonathan, beep that out
Sorry, it
for
was a
me.
little late. It was a little late.
Yes, just like Publix having no chicken. There's a supply chain shortage of houses. And I'm having conversations right now with people, and I can't believe the way it's going. I talked to a farmer friend of mine last night and said, John, it's time to put your property on the market. He goes, I said, how much do you want for it? He goes, I don't know. I said, what do you think? I don't have a clue. Some guy from California might just want an acre to park his RV on, right? Let's put it on the market and see what it says. He said, well, I paid 50 for it. Do you think I can get 150? I said, let's go 175 and see what happens. And how much commission are you going to charge me? And I said, I'm going to charge you 3%. Oh, that's good. I said, yeah, but we got to pay the co-broke something too. And right now, co-brokes are 2.5 to 3. I'd recommend 3. He says, well, if you can get me 175, I'll pay the 6. I said, well, you're also going to pay doc stamps and title insurance. That's another 2. So it's 8. So 175 is going to net you 162. He goes, I'm okay with that. He paid 50 for it. And then I reminded him he's got capital gains that he's got to pay. And then I told him, I said, hey, I know you're into vacation rentals. What if we take that 162 and we 1031 it into, take that 162 and put it as a down payment on another vacation rental for you? Because I know you and Terry like doing vacation rentals. And he goes, we're trying to slow down a little bit. I said, well, you're going to pay 30 grand in tax on that money. So you can either have 130 or you can have 162 and put it into another property. What did I just do?
Gave them options.
I gave them options,
He
right?
definitely
I
gave
made
them
them
options, yeah.
aware of different things, right? And that's why we have these meetings. That's why I have these conversations. So you guys can have those conversations too, because it's not about what you pay the brokerage or what you pay Century 21. It's about the knowledge that you have with the tools that you have to win customers, to influence them to do something, right? Those are the conversations we're having. Yes, Lauren, thank you. Your name along with Century 21 makes you excellence. It leads you excellence, right? We're a brand name franchise. Let's call it what it is, right? Hi, I'm with Align Right Realty. What the hell is that? Hi, I'm Jimmy McNally with Century 21. Ooh. If you get one transaction a year, that's it. One transaction a year, because of the name of Century 21, you paid the service fees for a year.
Yep.
Right? That's it. Now look at Mike Reichenbach. $500,000 in gross commission last year. 500,000, that's 30 grand. He paid 30 grand to Century 21. Mike uses the system. I guarantee you, Mike made more than 30,000 is a small percentage of 500,000. I guarantee you he got more value out of Century 21 than 30,000 bucks.
Yep.
Right.
Oh,
Sorry.
yeah.
Some people drive Rolls Royces. Some people drive Hyundais. Not to discount the Hyundai because it's a good car, but did I say that? Anyway. I don't know. I that was my epiphany at 4 o'clock in the morning is I'm tired of defending charging a commission because the commission we charge funds the world. Right. And we deserve it. You deserve it. Century 21 deserves it. And there's plenty more to come. So let's just put that aside and let's embrace the tools that the brand gives us so we can make a return on our investment.
Yep.
Okay. So back to my point, and this is what is this? I can't see, my glasses are wrong. 8:42, the 12-minute rant for me is, I'm sorry, competition is coming. And you're going to have to up your game in order to win. And our brand is providing us tools to make you look like a rock star to outperform and out-earn your competitors. Right? So that's it. That's my 4 o'clock in the morning wake-up call. We pay 20% for a good
That's
meal.
good.
6% is the deal. I love it.
I like that.
I went to Subway yesterday and I got a sandwich and it gave me an option to tip, which I'm not used to tipping a Subway person. But I tipped them because that poor girl did a nice job, number one. She had to wear a stupid mask all day long in the Subway shop. And I just said, I'm giving her 20% extra. It was a $6 sandwich. So it was $1.20. Didn't matter to me, made a difference to her, right? So let's think about those things as we move forward. All right, so Jimmy, our purpose is I want us to shine. And I'm sorry to be the guy who tells you, you have to do more in order to do better, right? Take the sugar off of it. You have to do more to do better. So there's some tools. And I wrote down, I sent myself an email real quick. I'm just a dork, I know. Here, I'll share it with you. Zoom, share. Here's my email to myself. Answer 3 questions. Do they have to sell? Do they know where they're going specifically? Do they have a definite time to be there? If not, yes to all 3, they're a thinker, not a seller. Nurture them until they're ready. A lot of the people I'm talking to right now are not ready. I'm nurturing them. I'm prodding them. I'm encouraging them. I'm educating them, but they're not ready to list yet. If they say yes to all 3, and you know the answer to the 3 questions, then you set a preview appointment and you deliver a pre-listing package. And I put in parentheses, Moxie, because I want you to look good. And then I want you to leave behind the 11 questions, which is a whole nother training topic, which we'll get to as part of the April 8th meeting. Then after you preview the house professionally and look for the cracks in the ceilings and the spider cracks and all those steps and the chair and all the things that a pre-inspection would look for, then you go back to your office and do a spa. A spa, right? Now we're going to talk about that today, how Moxie does a spa, and I've got mixed feelings on that. Then you deliver the listing and pricing presentation, which is just that. It's a presentation. You're presenting something, which is going to earn you more money because you're professional, right? Then you get it signed in .loop. Let's screw it around with all this other stuff. You get it signed in .loop and send it for e-sign, and it comes back, and then you submit it for review. Then you schedule your photography, and you begin your pre-sale marketing. I was talking to my daughter, Jessica, last night. She says, I like to put my listings on the market on Thursday. And then I withhold showings until Saturday when I hold my open house. And then I put highest and best offers on Sunday. That is not normal. Just so you know, it's not normal to put a house on the market on Thursday and have multiple offers to choose from on a Sunday, right? But that's how we're working today. And that's a strategy she came up with. And I said, great, let's do it that way, right? I said, why not Wednesday? Because it doesn't take much time. I don't want to handle all the calls and all the people calling me to do all this stuff, right? So anyway, the purpose here is this word Moxie, right? It's part of the tools that we're paying for. And I don't know what it would cost. One of you can go call Moxie Works and see what it costs to buy the full Moxie suite for yourself. But it's probably $500 a month. What's that?
You can't.
Can't.
Moxie only works with, you have to have a certain amount of production and agents.
Oh, wow. Oh, even better. Okay. Well, so you go work for Ruttenberg and you don't have a CRM. Well, you got to buy one. You don't have a presentation tool. You got to buy one. Most real estate agents have expenses in their business because they don't have a franchise or a broker that's providing tools. You know, .loop, we pay monthly for each of you to have .loop. You know, we pay monthly for each of you to have the Google Suite of Services. There's a whole bunch of things. FedEx is charging $35 for an overnight now. And I mentioned this yesterday. So when your title company mails a check to your office has to overnight it to us so we can pay you on time. $35, 8 offices, 7 days a week. That's a lot of money. It's wasteful. So anyway, I rant again.
No,
so I'm going to turn off that. And let's talk about how to
Mike
take
asked a
advantage.
question. Were those questions for a buyer or seller? Mike, those are for specifically a seller. Now you
Yeah,
can
most
kind
of everything I talk about is seller friendly, just so you know.
I mean, you could tweak those questions for a buyer to see how motivated they truly are. And then you can go a different direction, obviously, with that. But, you know, today is going to be really the focus is going to be around sellers.
You guys are trained so well, Lord, and they're working, not sitting home and binging on Netflix. Just checking the chats.
Among other things.
Yes,
Okay.
our name, along with Century One, needs to be synonymous with excellence in real estate, period. Agreed. Jennifer said she's lost track on how many times she's talked to you in the last few days.
It's all good. That's why we're here.
Cool.
30%. Okay.
Yep, it brings value. That's it. That's what we do. It brings value if you take advantage of it. So that's my point.
Yes,
Jenny.
that's the big thing.
Let's take advantage of it.
Is taking advantage of it, at least seeing what works for you. I mean, as always, you don't have to use any of this stuff.
Nope.
You know, you can do whatever you want, but if you want to step up, and I think one of the nice things I like about what we do here as a brokerage is, you know, we're not saying that everything's going to crash and it's going to fall. We're not saying any of that stuff, but I will tell you, in the 6 years that I've been here, I have never heard something coming out of their mouth of something that may happen and preparing and then just moving with it and basically taking control of it. So the things that, you know, that Craig's talking about with all these other agents coming in, yes, we have to do it now. Just because it's going to sell in 3 days does not mean you step away from the things that you should be doing, trying to get a listing. And because other people are going to see that stuff, you know, not just them, other people will see it, how you market yourself, how you do things. Everyone's going to see it. When somebody a year and a half from now remembers how you delivered something or how you marketed something, and you didn't have to. I'm going to use quotations because it's going to sell so quickly. I was just like, you're setting yourself up in the future too. So, and you know what? Why not? We're launching all this crap now, and it's good crap. So I hope you take advantage of it. And yes, you have to learn a little bit more, but I'm telling you, once you learn it, it's actually not that much different than what you're already doing. If you really think about it, you just have to learn a new system to be able to produce what you're doing. And then for some people that don't like to use technology, it will be a bigger difference. But our past listing, process is you still bring stuff to the listing preview and leave it for them. Here, we're just going to make it look sexy as hell, send it to them or print it, whatever's easier for you. And still drop it off.
Hey, Kim, we showed Kim's presentation yesterday, which I thought was great. Did we do that at the Apollo Beach meeting or the sales meeting?
We did that at sales meeting.
Okay. Kim said, I sent my Moxie buyer welcome 3 times yesterday. The leads are coming through like crazy, guys. Century 21, just for that alone. Remember, one transaction from Century 21 pays your service fees for the whole friggin' year. And you can see every week, because I show you, the preponderance of leads we're getting are coming from Century 21. Now, you got to work them, right? But Kim sent her presentation out 3 times, right? And that same buyer, what's the ratio, Jim? Let me see if you know the number. How many agents does a buyer come in contact with during their home sale process?
Oh shit, I don't even know. I'd probably say like 30. I mean, at this point,
it's 17. The industry says 17. Good job, Lauren. The average buyer comes in contact with 17 agents during the home search process.
Right.
So what are you going to do to make yourself stand out and be different from the other 17, where they say, yes, I want to work with you?
Yep.
Flex your muscles, people. Talk about single agency. Use the the buyer presentation we put together for you. So I'm going to turn it over to you now. You can talk about the Moxie buyer and listing presentation that we've built for you, because we know you won't do it. But you are totally welcome, and we'll encourage and empower you to create your own version of that to make it unique to you. But if you don't have the impetus to do that, then use ours, right? It's damn good. So there you go, Jimmy.
Yeah, and that's huge. Like, I mean, yes, we've done a lot for you, so you don't have to. So we're trying to make it as efficient and as seamless as possible and as quick as possible for you. But if you want to take the time to do some extra things with it, you can. You can kind of tweak it the way that you want. Like, by all means, you can do that. You're not stuck with just using this, but we just put together a pretty solid looking preview and both for buyer and seller presentations that look pretty sexy. Again, if you don't like something, I mean, I'll show you.
Mobile friendly, and it's desktop friendly, and it's done, and it's provided by Century 21 at no additional cost to you.
Yep.
So let's utilize the brand resources that we're paying for.
So what I'm going to do, let me move this over real quick. So, okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through the process. You just talk to somebody who's interested in selling their home. They answered the 3 questions. They're all yes. They have all the answers you need. And it is time for you to let's get rolling. You've set up time to go do a preview. So I'm going to walk you through what those next steps are. And it's been happening a lot. What do I do now? What do I do now? What do I do now? Well, here, let's start here. This is the process. And again, tweak it after you play around with it for a while. But as of right now, this is what we recommend for you to do. And I'm going to go a little quick with signing in for those of you that have not done this. But if you have not signed in to Moxie Present yet, you need to go to 21 Online. Well, you need to type in your password correct first.
Mine autofills, which is nice. But I go there probably 3 times a day because I take advantage of the brand resources. I found my real glasses.
Okay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to click. You can type in Moxie if you want. I just tell everybody go to menu here on the right. Scroll
Jimmy,
down.
your screen is not sharing. All we see is the sign-in page on 21 Online.
Why is it not doing that? I should. Is it moving?
Yep, now we got you.
Okay.
Hey, I'm going to address Mike's comment real quick before you go on.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because where's my chat? To date, I've received only 6 leads starting since 2021. I make sure my phone is always on and with me. Okay. Leads come from listings. When you get listings, you get leads. When you don't have listings, you don't get leads unless you're one of 400 agents in rotation that are not red balled that a lead will roll over to. But I, as the broker, have made a decision that I don't roll the leads over to agents anymore. I roll them over to Ojo. And then Ojo incubates them and then sends them back to agents who are not red balled. So of the 180 leads a month, a week that come through Century 21, Ojo reaches out to all of them, but only talk to about 40% because they don't answer the phone. And of the 40%, they send back about 20 that come back to an agent who's not red ball. So being one of 400 agents puts you in a very low minority of receiving a lead, a qualified lead from an Ojo artificial intelligence search engine body. So the answer is take responsibility and get listings, and then you'll get your leads when you answer your phone. But just getting leads is that's not what we do, right? We don't want leads, we want qualified leads, and that's how it works. So I don't know, that was probably pretty harsh, but it's true, right? The lead comes through, it goes to the listing agent answers it or it doesn't. If the listing agent answer it, they're supposed to work it. And working it means put it in your database into your upcoming CRM to nurture it over time because it's probably not ready yet because they just started, right? And then in time, when you impress them, like we're going to talk about Moxie Impress, when you impress them, they're going to work with you when they're ready, but they're not ready yet. They're starting. They're somewhere in a sales cycle of a funnel, right? And then what we've decided to do, if the listing agent doesn't answer that call, it goes to Ojo, which is a Century 21 sponsored artificial intelligence algorithm with a call center that will phone, text, and email more than you will until they get the customer who's ready and says, yes, I want to speak to a real estate agent. Then they give it back to us via lead router, which will become Moxie, to an agent who's available, who answers their phone. But the percentage of leads that come through to leads that are ready to talk to an agent in serious now, it's probably 5%. So 5 out of 100, and you're one of 400 agents in rotation. So it's just, that's it. Yeah, we got a list of old leads. I can show you. I just closed my database. I can pull it up in my downloads. I'll be happy to show it to you.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, and multiple people, and multiple people are working them. You think somebody inquires on realtor.com, they didn't inquire on Zillow or Redfin or something else? They're inquiring all over the friggin' place because there's no way to have 100 million internet leads because there's not 100 million people that are looking for real estate. It's the same people over and over again.
Yep.
Okay, I divert. Sorry.
Oh, you're good.
I've been up since 4. So
Okay, so
and I don't even drink coffee.
Hey, I know I could probably use some too, but I already talk too fast anyways. Throw coffee on top of it while I'm trying to do this. People are gonna be like, huh? Slow down, please. Let me put it in slow motion. So if you have not already logged in to Moxie, you're gonna come into 21 Online, you're gonna click on menu. You're going to scroll down to where it says Productivity Hub. This is where we're going to start. And, you know, we talked about all the tools, right, that Century 21 has. This is where you can find a ton of it. Okay. We're not spending time on this though today, but there's a ton of shit in here. What we're going to do is we're going to go to Moxie. It's all alphabetical. It's all alphabetical. Okay. So as of right now, we only have Moxie Impress and Moxie Present, but later on this month, we will have Moxie Engage and Moxie Websites. So what we're going to do is we're going to click here to learn more about Moxie Present. And everybody says, man, there's so many steps to get to it. Well, just pay attention.
It's
click here. There is training. You could do that if you want, but what we're going to do is we're going to click Access Moxie Present. The nice thing with Moxie is it ties all of their applications here. So if you see on the top, now this is the first time when you log in, it's going to go to your screen.
Now, Jimmy, did you put your picture there or did that show up for you?
this automatically shows up. So if this needs to be changed, you need to retake your photo professionally and you need to send it to Susie or Angelique. It needs to be updated across all platforms, just not Moxie. It's the same thing with your bio. Okay.
Mhm.
But what I tell everybody to do is click on present. This is probably going to be this when Engage comes in might be a little different, but the nice thing with Moxie is what they do is all of them are going to be up here on the top. Okay. So when all the other ones launch, you're going to have Moxie present, impress, promote, which is like social ad engine. You could do some, you can actually do some advertising directly from here.
Let me talk about that
Directory.
for a second too, because I was in Sun City yesterday and I was talking to an agent and we were just ranting about how prices have gone crazy. And they said, how do I find the California buyer who wants to move to Florida? And I said, you market to them.
Mhm.
And they looked at me like, what? I said, maybe talk to Mike Puma and find out how to social market a Facebook targeted ad to Californians. You can take a Florida listing and market it to California. And I talked about social ad engine and I talked about Facebook ads, which cost money, right? We
Yep.
don't generally talk about spending money, but if you're not going to do the effort of the manual things we talk about, you got to spend money.
Yep.
But the California buyer that sells their house for $3 million comes here and buys a really, really, really nice one for $1.5 million. They get an extra $1.5 million.
Yep.
And they're going to spend 300 grand on an acre to fire their pistols on because it's funny money, right? So this is kind of cool. Promote is a new thing I don't know anything about, but that's part of
another
what our
class.
job is.
Yeah, that's another class.
I got you.
That's another one. Not everybody will have the directory on here, so you don't have to worry about that. But then when we get Moxie Engage, you're going to see Engage, and then you're going to see websites.
Which is
So
coming
you only
soon.
have to log. What's that?
Which is coming soon.
Which is coming real soon. So what I tell everybody, what you need to do is pull up Moxie Present, get into your dashboard, and then on your URL up here, you want to hit this star. When you hit the star, you're going to make it a favorite on your bar right here. Name it Moxie. That's what I did here. Okay. So now every time you need to log in, you only have to log in once and it's going to go right to here. And you're not going to have to do 5 different steps to get to it. And it will get you into Moxie Present, Moxie Impress, Engage, and Moxie websites.
Cool.
Okay. So there's that. Now, like we said, we just had those 3 questions are answered. I'm getting ready to come out to Craig's house tomorrow to do a presentation, right? Like I'm sorry, a preview. So what we're going to do now is we're going to come over here to the right. We're going to create new. Now Craig's a seller, right? Yeah. Sorry. We're going to hit continue. Okay. It's automatically set up here for your broker templates. You can drop this down and you can look at Century 21's stuff, but we did a ton of work. So this is where you're going to want to go. And eventually you can make your own and then you can pull from that. But in this case, you're going to leave that checked at broker templates. Then you're going to scroll down and we're looking for the Beggins pre-listing preview, no comps. We're not doing any comps when we do a preview, right, Greg?
Right.
We don't want to do that. We need to see the house. Okay.
And we want to get it done fast. Comps
Yes.
takes work. You got to go to MLS and look at numbers and all this other stuff. All we're doing is delivering a pre-listing package, which is part of the bulletproof listing process, where you got a nice folder, hopefully, and we have them at the front desk for you, where the left side is going to be your marketing material and the right side, is that right on my camera? Yeah. Is going to be your listing paperwork because we're not pulling any punches. This is our listing agreement. This is our seller's disclosure statement. All those documents that you need in the listing package are printed out for them to review. So when you're actually at the listing presentation, they've already seen all the crap they have to deal with. And your presentation is a yes. And then you send them at an e-sign and they go click, 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 click on their phone. And it's a signed listing. And you don't have to go through 27 freaking pages of paper and explain what it means.
Yep.
Right. There's a science behind our madness here. And it actually makes your job easier when you follow the steps. So a nice presentation book is a medium is the message. You're going to do this. This is going to be your marketing material for your pre-listing package. And then dot loop is your presentation material for the listing paperwork, right? You print the listing back. It's a waste of paper. I get it, right? But so what? We pay for the paper. We pay for the printer. We pay for the copiers and the scanners. It's not costing anything. So just follow the system. Sorry.
No, you're good. So you're going to come in here and you're gonna prepared for, this is basically how it's gonna call it out. So however you want to, if you want to do address, if you want to do name, but this is how you're gonna search for it or follow it up in your dashboard. So you're gonna put the name of the person or the address, leave everything else like it is, and we're gonna go to create. Okay. So you're going to create new, click seller, go to seller, preview, no comps, type in the address or the name and hit create. Then you're going to come here to this page. Okay. I'm going to put an address in. Look, the reason you don't have to fill out all the information on this page, but again, we want to, the medium is the message, and you want to take some time to make it look decent, right? So I would recommend to go ahead and put the address in. And what will happen is if you get a second, once the right, you see the star popped up and the map popped up, that means it has found it. Okay, I didn't have to type the entire address in, it just found it. So we know that this is the address that we're going to be going to. And
That's
you can do
slick.
some basic information down here in the next section, which is subject property information. So we know it's a single family home. It's 3 bedrooms, 2 full bath and a half. Let's say living square foot, let's say it's 2,000 square feet. Built in 2006. You can add some of this other stuff. After you do the preview, this is when I would fill the rest of the stuff out. But right now, that's where I start. And then the other thing you want to do is, if you can, have some picture available to kind of put as at the homepage. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, I always use this one, but if you have a picture of the house, like you drove by because you want to see the community, have a picture of the house. Again, that's just, to me, little nuances that you're doing that shows that you're doing a little bit more, right?
Or the
You're just doing-
subdivision entrance gateway sign or
Yeah,
whatever.
just something. Okay. Now, once that's done, all we're going to do is we're going to click on this and go to pages. We're not doing any of this other stuff right now. We're going to our pages. Okay. And we're done. If you don't want to do
That's it.
anything else, if you don't want to add a video, if you don't want to add your, like right now, if you wanted to, at this point, the presentation is done. And I can come over here and I can send it to Craig.
And this is for a seller, but the same process goes for a buyer, and we built a buyer presentation too. So you meet me at the public subway line and we start engaging because I'm wearing a Century 21 shirt, right? And we start talking about real estate, and we exchange contact information. Then I come to Moxie and I send you a buyer presentation, which sets me aside from the Align Right Realty person who's in line behind me, who has a real estate license
Yep.
too, like everybody else does.
And what I'll do is after we do the seller side, I'll have time because it does not take long once you get comfortable doing this. It will not take long for you to be able to send out this. Now, what I'm going to stop here real quick is because in this presentation, you have everything that we do is here. This is fantastic. And then the other stuff we do have on here is we do have the listing agreement and all the disclosures and everything else. That's all there. Okay. So if you have that person that wants everything digital, you just send this. That's all you need to do. Now we do have like the 11 questions here too. Maybe you want to leave this behind. Maybe you want to print out and leave the contract or the listing agreement behind. Okay. How about this? Maybe you have someone who is not technologically inclined and you need to have this all printed because this is not going to work because they don't have email, or well, they're going to need email if we're doing .loop, but there's ways around it. But let's say this is just how they use paper. They're not going to do it by email. Mike, I will get into the buyer presentation at the end, buddy. Okay. So what you're going to do here now, if you want it in print, now the only thing that's not going to show up, if you have anything that is a video, so we have our strategic marketing video here. Anything with a video is not going to print, obviously. So that will be taken out. But I can come here to view and I want to go to print portrait. So now it's going to generate a PDF. It does take a little bit because there's a lot of pages. But there's your listing, preview, paperwork, everything that you can take to your client or potential client.
And you
Okay.
can print it or you can email it.
Print it or email it.
It's a PDF.
It's that simple. And for those of you that already have some stuff together that they like to drop off, you can incorporate it and add it, which is another training. But at this point, it probably will take you maybe 5 to 10 minutes to do this part. And then once you get good, this will take me less than a minute to get this out to a seller. And now it's downloading, so we're good.
While that's thinking, I'm going to share my screen for a second.
Yeah.
And just show people something. All right, this is Google Maps. You guys all have this, right? You do, because you're a Google Suite user like we are. You grab this little person down here and you drag them, as long as it's not a gated community, and you put them on the street, right? And then you can look around, right? So there's the house you're looking at. You can make the frame nice and pretty. You go to, there's something called a snippet tool. I mean, Microsoft anyway, Apple probably has one too. And look at this, boom. There's a picture of the house. I can copy it and I can go paste it. I would have to actually save it as a picture and then go grab it. But now I've got a picture of the house for your presentation.
Yep.
I just thought that was kind of cool to show.
Yeah.
What was that, 3 clicks?
But Craig, those are like the little things I think that, again, you're taking a little bit more time to do that, a little bit more time to just add a little flair if you decide to do it. But those are the little things that are gonna, I mean, you already got a sexy presentation and something that's very easy to get around on, but it just, to me, those are like the little things, like taking the time to fill out what you know about the property. To me, that goes, you're doing it anyways before you go on the preview. Put it in there. There's nothing wrong with it.
Kim wrote in the chat, a picture of the home would be perfect.
I think it
No.
is.
If you're in a gated community, Google doesn't have pictures of the street view. You can do an aerial.
Right.
But if you're in a non-gated community, they got a picture of your house. Just, and
Yep.
there was maps, photo, snipping tool, boom, done. Drop the
Yep.
little man on the street. It's pretty cool. Which is really fun when you're showing property virtually.
All right. So this is the PDF. You see that, right?
Yep.
All right, so this is the first page. So this is, I'm not gonna go through all of it, but this is what it basically looks like in a PDF form.
Which when people are on their phone, they're just doing this.
Yeah. Well, and yeah, right. If we do it that way, but if you had to hand it, this is what you would be giving them.
Right. Well,
Okay?
you're going really fast. Go back up. I mean, these are important little parts, not the intro pages, but scroll through. I'll stop you. A little bio about you is important. That's all automatic. At a glance, we're bragging about the size of your company, right? Remember, it's you and it's Beggins Enterprises and it's Century 21. So when you play all 3 cards, you're presenting a stronger front than the person with, I don't know why Align Right Realty is on my brain, but I don't know what Align Right Realty means, right? About us, we're the #1 Century 21. We have 30 years, got 9 offices. We're the top workplace for 12 years in a row. And there's our family, that's kind of cool. People like to work for family businesses.
We're
Our
a family.
locations,
Yep.
where they are. If you're in Sarasota and you don't talk about the fact that we're in Tampa and St. Pete, you're missing some credence, some credentials. Right? Keep going. Good, stop.
Yeah, I'm good.
What is single agency? Remember, we allow you to act as a single agent. Most brokerages don't. And many of you think you are single agents, but you're not, because you're not getting them to sign a single agent notice.
Yeah.
And the consent to transition to transaction brokerage is one of our listings. But that's something that you got to develop to talk for, right? This is important stuff. And not everybody's going to read it, but just the fact you sent it to them. There's your 11 questions, right? This is what you're telling a seller to ask a competitor. When we do a Cartus deal, we have to compete against another brokerage. We have to. Cartus sends out, on a relocation deal, Cartus sends out 2 agents to interview the relocating home seller. And there's automatically competition, and we have to compete against them, and we win most of the time, right? Talk about professional photography. Look at the difference, right? This is not important, but it makes you stand out and look more impressive and professional than XYZ Realty. Certified Pre-Loved Homes walks you into, Brandon's going to be my guest on Friday this week, and we're going to talk about pre-loved inspections. I'm personally going through, I have an ex-employee who called me for help, and I've helped her with my attorneys, and we got their house out of foreclosure. Now we're getting ready to put it on the market, and it's not ready yet. And they've taken everything I've said to heart, and they're doing everything we're talking about in this presentation. We had to cancel the photographer today because it's not ready for photos. And you can't take photos of a house that's not ready. You should not take photos of a house that's not ready, right?
Yep.
It's got to be spit, polish, and shine. You never get a second chance to make a first impression. And all this is marketing material back there. Home concierge, if you're not talking about that, that's Century 21, guys. What a tool. Home warranties. We did friggin' 4 home warranties last month. We've never had 4 home warranties in a month. That was by far the piss poor performance of anything I've ever seen. And what a valuable thing that we're not even talking about. But now you're talking about it because you're putting it in here.
Yep.
And Jimmy and Angelique built this package for you, and it's really powerful.
Yeah, and you don't know what's going to be important to a seller necessarily. Like, you may know and get to know them and figure certain things out, but there may be certain pieces of what is here that might be really important to them, or maybe it's not. That's fine. But these are all those tools that we were just talking about, along with Beggins too, to just give information on what to expect, what you should do, what all this kind of stuff. And some of this is from
go back to agent response time is critical. If you don't talk about, guys, XYZ Realty doesn't have the stuff you have. Lead Router sends you a lead by text and friggin' email within seconds of it coming through. And then it's your job to answer it and reply to it and accept it, right? What do most people do? A normal real estate company, somebody calls the sign and it gets answered by a person who does what? I don't know. Ours is automatic.
Right.
And it's tracked and it's counted, and I can show you, and I'll piss you off when I show you how many leads come through that agents don't answer. But our system does it in seconds. It'll come through, it's a lead on XYZ Street, and it'll hit 27 agents in 14 minutes. And then it's delivered to somebody who actually accepts it. Easter seals, giving back, seller service pledge, all these things that you'll never talk about on a listing presentation are there. And hopefully, the serious customer is going to read it. And if they're not serious, and there's your stuff.
There's all the stuff from the listing standpoint.
Jimmy, if we just did this from scratch, it would be about a 5-minute operation.
Yes. And I'll even show you how quick it is after we do the next part.
And then you print it or email it, depending on your preference, right?
Yep.
Mom said, can you save the presentation? Yeah, we just did, Mom. We saved it as a
when you download, when you go to print it up here, it will download it. And then, yes, you can go back in and add stuff. And obviously you're going to have to reprint it once it's done.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I'm going to show you one thing on here. Let's say there's something in here that doesn't make sense.
It's not relevant.
Or you want to move something around. There's this little X that allows you to remove it from this from your presentation.
I don't want to offer you're as Beggins Enterprise, you're going to be a single agent for the seller anyway.
How about this, Craig? I know that you like paper though too. So you're going to want to read over this listing agreement.
Mm-hmm.
So, maybe I don't want to, I'm not going to send you that. I'm going to hand that to you when we get there.
Okay.
Okay. So I could print it, but I can also take it out of here by just clicking the X, and now it's gone.
Gotcha.
Okay. And then this is the cool thing. So I'm going to view this on the web real quick. You see this up here, this link? That is your website for that presentation you just made. Website. If I go back here and change any of these,
you can text it, you can email it, you can do anything you want with it.
Yes. So, and then if you make any changes, guess what? The website doesn't change. It updates it. So if they still have that link and you make an adjustment, they can go in there and see it. On the buyer standpoint, one of the things that I'm having agents do is actually when they're doing their video and all that stuff, I'm having them save this link in their phone so they can text it to them whenever a buyer comes in. But
There you go.
we're not to that point yet. All right, Craig. So I
Well,
sent
let's
this
talk
over
about
to
that. Let's
What's
talk
that?
about that. I want to
Yeah.
add to that. Like Kim did, a very generic, and she was nervous about it and doesn't like it, but it was perfect. Right? It just says, hi, I'm Kim. I've been in real estate for 6 years or since whatever years. And over that time, I've learned a lot. I'm really looking forward to helping in your home search.
Yep.
Right? That's it. And she did it holding her phone like this. Right? And it wasn't super professional and it wasn't awkward. It was just her being her. And I thought it was awesome. Right? I'm sorry, my phone's off the camera, but it's just this. Hi,
Yeah.
it's Craig. I'm really looking forward to working with you. I'm really glad we connected. I'm going to make this your best home search process ever.
Okay.
Or hi, it's Craig. Insert a video into this thing.
Yep.
Really looking forward to help with the marketing your home. I've got a lot of experience doing this. Together, we're going to build a strategy that's going to maximize your home value.
And we're going to do some trainings and stuff like that for your videos to try to help and that stuff. But at this point, you don't need any of that. Now it's set up where all you can do is just send it. Now, Mike, you asked, you emailed them the URL or not the PDF. When I was in here, Mike, and I hit email, it sends them. I'll show you. Okay, we're in my email now, right, Craig?
Yep.
It copies me on the email. And this is what Craig gets. He clicks on it and it opens up the presentation that he can look at.
So
So there's no
emails
need to
link
send a
to the
PDF.
presentation. Right.
The only
PDF is
reason I
probably
say to
very
do a
large.
PDF is if you need to print something out. Because everything is always here unless you delete that presentation from your dashboard. That's the only way that this website is not going to work anymore, is if you delete it. That's what they see. And see, that even looks pretty good too. I didn't really put any notes or anything in it, but you can actually put a nice little message in there for them. And then now they're going through it.
And it's really cool on the phone too, because you literally just swipe.
Yep. Okay, so what I'm gonna do now is, I've already sat down with Craig. We've looked at the house, and now I'm gonna come back on a listing presentation, right? And so we're gonna actually talk about comps. Now, if we've already done a spa, Craig said to talk about using a spa. In our presentation, it says that we're going to. So you can take a spa and you can add it as a PDF to the very end or bring it. But I want to show you how you can use the tools here with, hey, I'm going to start it over. Sorry. Create new seller, just like we did before. This time we're going to scroll down to Century 21 Beggins seller presentation. We're going to do the comps this time. Okay, create.
Now, just so you know, before this got launched, we had to go approve all the MLSs we're a part of to have access to this presentation so it can go pull comps. Just little things happen in the background. Once again, the power of you and the power of Beggins and the power of Century 21 together, making this something for you to use. And it's your job to use it.
All right, so we're doing it again. I'm going to add the photo. I should have taken a picture of my house and did that. I'm just going to pretend this is
The
this is
Batman
not my
symbol
house.
looks good.
Yeah, I like that, right? Here you go. Well, you know what? I mean, that's how I am. So, that's my, here, let me give you my branded Batman one. Where's that? There you go. Okay. So as you can see, I started putting the address in, it pops up here. This is where you want to put information. Okay. Elementary school, middle school, high school. Again, property type. We've already done all that stuff. I don't want to take too much time, but fill out as much as you can here. HOA dues, county, taxes, tax year. When you come down here to the features, okay, cool. It has a pool. Awesome. Yes. Is it covered? Is it not? Garage, is it a carport? How many spaces? How old's the roof? What does the kitchen look like? Updated kitchen with this. This shows you were listening and paying attention in the house when you were there.
That's the stuff you should be looking for in your preview.
Yes. Pretty important, right? Okay. And then you can even leave some remarks if you want, whatever you want to put in here. Okay. But you don't have to. Fill out as much as you can on this and what you're comfortable with. Okay. The more, the better. And we're going to scroll down here and we're going to go continue. So what it's going to do here is it's going to pull from your MLS that you're tied to. Okay, here you go. So this is going to pull up a lot of properties, right? But what I want to do is, since I want to make sense, because this is where the house is. This is the entire community that he lives in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw. So I click quick draw. Now, sometimes it does go a little bit out. Okay, so now I'm into the community that I want. Okay, so that's already narrowed it down. I don't need to go to some of these other.
Look at the solds and look at the actives.
There's barely any.
Green
And
are
then look,
active, red are sold, and there's nothing for sale. That's crazy.
So there's two active. These are all the pendings. There's some canceled, expired, and solds. Okay. Now the next thing you're going to probably want to do, now again, however you do your spa, however you start narrowing down what it's going to be. I know that I'm at 1,900 square feet, and I probably can't comp out a 3,000 square foot house with mine. So you can actually put in. I'm going to go a little bit higher and a little bit lower. Okay. So I'm going to start with square footage. You can pick some things like single story homes. If there is a pool, if there's not a pool, this one has a pool. So I just want to see.
Well,
what
when you
homes
only
are
have 2 actives, it's hard to narrow it down very much.
Well, with the actives, you can't, and even the pendings can be sometimes if there's not enough pendings either. So let's say I just apply with that. Okay. So now that narrows it down to 1 active. That's kind of in my range. Pendings kind of came down. We still got a lot of solds. You can also click on filters, and over here on the left, you can actually make some adjustments. So let's say one of the things that I've been doing is, yes, you want to go back 6 months, but the last 3 months, the prices have been different than last 6 months. I like starting at 3 months out to see if I can find enough. And if not, then push myself out further. So I'm going to go ahead and go, and then you can make some adjustments. Like I just leave this because our MLS doesn't always pull. It's not necessarily sale fail or anything like that. So I don't touch it. I leave that the same. And if you want to make some adjustments and click on some things here, but just like any search, the information that's provided here is only as good as MLS and is only as good as the agent that put it in. So if the agent did not put in that it has a pool for some reason, or if it's new construction, or if it's not, you could possibly be missing out on something. Okay,
100.
so now I'm down to 31 listings.
One's for sale.
One's
Everything's
for sale.
pending.
So we know we're using that one, right? So that one's going to be there. And then this one is a 2-story. So I'm just going to actually pick a few in here. Actually, with what you should be doing is you're going to go through this first. You can click details at any time. And when you click details, it's going to pop up with this and give you the description that's tied to MLS. So square footage, lot size, if it has a pool, information over here, all the remarks and stuff like that, pretty much everything you're going to see except for the disclosures on MLS. Okay. So at any time you can do that. So I'm going to go through, I'm going to find houses that are similar to mine. Or in this case, Craig's. I'm just picking some just to kind of just show it. Okay. So right now, how many do I have? I have a total 1, 2, 3. Let's just do one more. Okay. And after you have kind of chosen it, just by clicking the left over here, you scroll down and we're going to go to continue. And then this is where I would get a little bit more in depth on everything. At any time you can click the listing again, pull it up to find out what's going on.
And this is why pricing a home is so subjective.
Yes.
Because you could
Yes.
pick the lowest comps and share those with the seller,
Yep.
or you could pick the highest comps and share those with the seller. And it's going to depend on the condition of the property you're comparing to.
Yep.
Right? So there's a science here. It's not just.
So I switched it from active to sold. And then what you can actually go and do in here. Now, obviously this gives you price per square foot on the right-hand side. It's just kind of giving you, out of all of them, the prices are between 345 and 400. What has sold, what's pending. And then it even actually ranks it basically by price per square foot here. Okay. But one of the cool things you can do in here is, let's say for instance, this house does not have a pool, but Craig's does. Craig, what does a pool kind of go for right now? Like, what are appraisers you think giving? Like it used to be 20, maybe 25.
It's probably 30 now.
Okay. So you know what?
COVID.
Okay, so now
plus
that just made
30,000.
an adjustment.
No, I
and
want
you'll
to say, I
actually
want to
see it
clarify
over here.
that.
Look at this.
So an appraiser's going to pool maybe 30,000 to build a pool. It's probably 70 or 80 right
Right.
now.
But let's say appraiser, because that's really what we're looking at, right? If appraiser
Mhm.
comes in and this one has a pool and this one doesn't. So I just added that to it and the price went from 400,000 to 430. And you saw over here, it made the adjustment out of everything. So right now, active wise, this one is on the market for 400 and that puts it at 429. So if you go in and make adjustments based on updates, upgrades, view, the things that you normally do when you're looking to comp a property, you can make those adjustments here and they will change all of these values that you have in here. Okay.
And that's where local knowledge comes in, guys. Like
Yes.
in my neighborhood, you know, it's an old neighborhood now. Well, all the houses are approaching 30 years old. And I'm putting a new roof on. It's a $50,000 roof. If a house next door to me doesn't have a new roof, that buyer is going to have to put a new roof on real soon.
Yeah.
And it's going to be 50 grand. Right. So this is really important to have local knowledge and know what this is. Kim just said a neighbor just got a quote for a pool for 120,000 and it's a small pool. Roberta said, thank you, Jimmy. I just did a presentation and needed this greater detail for
Oh,
searching.
I
I did it by hand and it took a couple of hours. This is much faster at narrowing the field.
Yeah. And so look, I'm not going to go too much further on this thing. I want to show one more thing, but you know, when we were searching, there was an option to search. You can put MLS numbers. So if you're doing, you could use your spa. And this is what I would do. If you're going to present a spa, take those comps that you're using for the spa and put them in this.
Yeah.
So now you have exactly what you're going to be talking about with pictures. They can click on it. They can see what's going on. Okay. Now, I know it's already 9:32. Is it cool?
I was just looking at that saying, holy cow, we got so much more to cover, but we're not going to.
I know. Let me show this last page and then I'll just show what it looks like.
Okay.
So basically you have your estimated pricing. This is where they think based on averages. This is the average square price per square foot. And they come up with this. Now you can actually change this. And this is what your client sees. If you think the house is worth $420,000, you can put that there. Okay. And the reason this is important is when we get to the net proceeds. The other thing you can look at, and I was talking to Craig about, is you can create a range. Okay. So, you know, our cost estimator has a range. You could put that in minimum to maximum. Or let's say you look at all the listings that are selling in that community and they're selling between 97% and 103% of list price. Well, you know what? I might just go ahead from that 420 and calculate 3% on either side. So it's between 407 and 432. Okay.
Sweet.
Or like I said, let's go ahead and we could just pick a specific number. Okay. Now, what I like, the next part, which is pretty sexy, is the estimated net proceeds. You click
Hey, Jimmy,
this
go
tab right here.
stop your, I want to do one more thing before you
Yeah.
go. Your session's about to expire in 21 online. Go activate that again. Because I want you to show one more thing before we're done. Okay, sorry.
Oh, you're good. Okay, so the estimated net proceeds, this is pretty sick. So you can title it whatever you want. We said it was going to be 420. So let's say that's kind of where we think that it's going to fall. How much do you own the house, Greg? 130,000. You've been in there for a while, right?
Yep.
So we're going to need to take some of that money and buy something, just so you know. We'll have that conversation later.
Exactly.
Okay, we're charging 3% on both sides. Okay, title insurance. What's title insurance on $420,000?
1%.
Okay.
4,200.
All right. We can add state tax, or you can call this doc stamps. You can add it, you know, if there's HOA fees, if there's taxes involved. Down here, we have a transaction fee, right?
I didn't know this did your net sheet too. That's pretty damn cool.
Mm-hmm. We have you can add closing fees, assessments, inspections.
And I don't want to overwhelm you guys either. You don't need all this stuff either.
No, you don't. But okay, so I'm just going to save this. And then when we get to the pages here, here's everything. Like, okay, I'm basically done. And I just want to show you what it looks like when you send it to somebody.
I mean, the technology we're talking about now is just really over the top.
All right, Jennifer asked, how do I eliminate the pictures of every home I use as comps? I'm at 105 pages on a listing presentation right now and want to shorten it significantly. You have way too many houses, but
Yeah,
are you printing it or are you showing it? Because if you're printing it, it's a different story, and that's going to be a different training. For this specific reason, when you do it this way and you actually go online with it and show these numbers, you don't have 150,000 pages, because what you're if you try to print this one, it's going to print this house and the property information, this house. It's going to take all 12 of these properties and print a sheet with all the pictures and all that stuff. So you can clean it up. But this is what they're seeing here. And then it breaks it down where you can at any time click on it. So if you're on a presentation, you can go through, show them the pictures, where it's located, and talk about the home and what the differences are. And then it actually gives you a nice little grid view, so you can actually see. Now, if you made adjustments to the price, it will actually show this here. Okay, just sexy. This breaks it down between your active, pending, and sold, and gives you everything from price per square foot, average, everything there, days on market, percent of list price.
Just scroll up for 1 second. Just look right there. Look at the active, 238 a foot. The pendings are at 191 a foot, and the closed are at 174, 167. That's insane.
Then it has this nice little breakdown here. You can click between active, sold. So let's say I just want to do sold.
Jennifer is saying that the email is showing all the photos for every property.
Well, I mean, if it just, Jen, we could talk on the side, but this is what you should see. If you print it up or you send it as a PDF, then it will be. Because you can see here, I have not done anything and it's not showing everything. So this is the net sheet. Selling price 420, cost 159, net 260.
Sweet. Tax free if it's primary residence.
Yep.
Okay, so Jimmy, before we go, I mean, we're way over time, but
I know. We've
I
kept
wanna
almost
learn
everybody
more.
on, which is nice.
yeah, which is very cool. I want to learn more. Take me to 21 Online, take me to Century 21 University, and show me where I can go get some more training.
All right. 21 Online. Remember how I said go to menu. We're going to go to Productivity Hub. I mean, again, you could type in C21 University. This is how I teach everybody. C21 University, access the site. It's going to pull up here. And what you're going to want to do here is come to the left where it says Learning Library. And if you guys didn't know, there is now a Century 21 University app that you can download, do the same thing. Okay, pretty cool. You're going to click Learning, search, Learning Library search. Come over here to the search field and type in Moxie. And you'll see all of the options that are here. In this case, you're going to come here to learn more with Moxie Present. It gives you an overview, and you're going to come here where it says Participant. You have a Get Starting Guide, how to switch user accounts. And then if you click this, this will be self-paced learnings that are done through Moxie.
Right.
We'll teach you how to use Moxie Present.
So what I would like you guys to do that want to learn more about this is schedule time in your calendar, an hour a week, and get proficient at it. Right? This is cool. I mean, Jimmy, you've obviously practiced this. You're good at it. We did a whirlwind training on it, and nobody's going to remember it. But
Yep.
This is the stuff that, yes, it's an amazing tool. Thank you, Lee. Play with it some more. Yes. So, and the resources are there, and it's part of your Century 21 dues that we're paying, right? It's all there. And if we're not taking advantage of it, we're wasting it. So full circle from my rant in the beginning to my rant at the end. But
hey, I know we're over like 9 minutes. We still got 59 people on here. Is Mike still on? I think he is. I want to just do one quick thing because it's going to be friggin' fast. Okay. I am going to send a buyer presentation to Craig.
And it's already pre-made because you and Angelique built the package and it's got all Beggins approved stuff.
And the only reason it takes a second is because of this right here. Okay. I'm going to add my picture.
weren't fast enough. I ran out of whistles.
So
Business
it was
presentation.
9:39. It's now 9:40, and I just sent you a buyer presentation. It was a minute.
I don't have it yet.
I know I did it faster than it takes to actually email it.
Right. All right, guys. So it's kind of incumbent on you to take advantage of the tools that you're paying for. And the only thing I can encourage you to do, and I do it too, guys. I every time, almost every time CenturyGold sends me an opportunity, I take advantage of it. Right. I've got webinars all week long that I do. Right. And as a result, I've learned more about the system where we get more opportunities than other people do. It's very, very cool. So spend some time, block out some time and learn these tools. And we're going to beat the hell out of XYZ Realty every time.
Yep.
And understand that you're competing with XYZ Realty, whether you know it or not, because everybody now has a real estate license.
So shameless plug, next Wednesday, I'm going to be at the beaches from, I believe, 11 to 12 ish or something like that, going over this with their teams. And then the week after, I'll be in South Tampa on Wednesday doing a live training too. So bring your laptops if you're in those offices for those meetings. We can play around.
Cool.
Thanks,
Thank
Greg.
you, everybody. Oh, Donna, you asked one more question before I get off. You said, how do I get more leads? Talk to your manager, get on with OpCity, because OpCity is basically a free lead source. You got to pay a referral fee for them, but they're sending us tons of leads. And you got to work them, so there's no magic there. But if you're not getting any leads at all, OpCity leads are better than no leads because we have a lot of agents closing a lot of transactions for that. So anyway, that's it. What is today? Wednesday?
I think so. I'm not sure.
Doesn't matter. They all flow together.
Yes.
Cool, guys. Thank you very much.